5,000 new emergency bomb shelters will be created in Moscow. The city has just given architects the task of coming up with the designs. So let's speak to our correspondent Ivor Bennett to get a few more details on this. Ivor, why do the authorities want these shelters building? That's the big question.
Why? Well, it's because there are only enough shelters at the moment in the city to house and shelter around half the city's population, which, compared to other places in the world, isn't out of the ordinary. That figure is sort of 50% coverage. For example, Switzerland is the only country where there are enough shelters for the entire country's population. But Moscow wants to build another 5,000 shelters, not necessarily because it's expecting nuclear war. We shouldn't be running for cover or anything like that. It's a precaution, because in the last 20 years, this area has been very underdeveloped. The current shelters, a lot of them are outdated and unprepared for this situation. A lot of them have been privatised, for example, and are now restaurants or bars. The Moscow metro system, that was specifically built, its stations specifically built very deep underground, so they could double as air raid shelters. For example, the station I'm standing outside right now, Mayakovskaya station, that did just that during the Second World War. And in 1943, it famously was the site where Stalin addressed party leaders and ordinary Muscovites in a Communist Party meeting during the Second World War. But these shelters, 5,000 will be built because basically there aren't enough at the moment, and in the next 2 years the plans will be developed for their construction.
Okay, so we've got the time frame, but Ivor, where are they going to be located and what will they look like?
Well, they'll actually be quite small, hence the high number of them, 5,000, and they'll be dotted around all over the city, because the metro system at the moment, in the outskirts especially, is quite far away from where a lot of people live, and the authorities say that in the event of a nuclear outbreak, people need to reach one of these shelters within a matter of minutes. So they'll be basically where people congregate, so underneath apartment blocks, underneath shopping centres, sports complexes, parks, places like that. And they won't be very deep, not as deep as the metro system, around 10 or 15 metres deep underground. And there hasn't been any mention of cost yet, but a prototype is being developed at the moment. The architects have been tasked with that, and so that this uniform prototype will be developed, and that apparently will speed up production by 10 to 15%.